So, okay lang naman. Okay, let's start. So, welcome to EEE 121. And of course, before ko pakilala yung course, pakilala muna ako. So, I am Herlan Benitez. So, yung aking email ay herlanbenitez@EEE.ph. So, hopefully, uh, na-receive nyo naman siguro yung emails ko earlier regarding yung course and yung session for today. So, for this session, gusto nyo ba mag-getting to know me? Okay na to. Sa Discord na lang natin. So, let's start with the preliminaries sa ating course. So, ano, para saan ang EEE 121? Ano yung gagawin natin for EEE 121? And what can you expect? So first, what is EEE 121 about? So EEE 121 is, well, sa course syllabus ang nakalagay is Data Structures and Algorithms for EEE. So ang titignan natin is yung mga common computational problems and paano sila sinosolve. Kasi usually, kahit madami tayong mga na-encounter na problems, meron na sigurong nakasolve na nito before or merong way na pag-solve na pwede natin i-apply dun sa current na problem natin. So first is yung mga algorithmic paradigms. Although medyo binawasan namin ng konti yung mga paradigms sa titignan natin for this offering because of the setup. So yung algorithmic paradigms is how do we approach a particular problem. So meron tayong natawag na complete search wherein parang binu-brute force natin hanapin lahat ng pwedeng solution at check kung pwede sila maging solution. And meron tayong mga algorithm yung medyo mas smarter way like divide and conquer. So meron tayong isang malaking problem, i-divide din natin sila into smaller problems and we solve the smaller problems first before we which makes it easier to solve the bigger problem pagdating sa dulo. And then meron din tayong natawag na dynamic programming wherein yung program natin itself is parang nag-adapt siya depende din sa naging results ng kanyang previous na runs. So basically parang yun na yung pumupunta sa AI or machine learning part. Pero hindi naman tayo masyadong focus doon. So, ayun. So parang introduction lang muna for EEE 121. Ang main bulk ng course will focus on yung ating tinatawag na data structures. So, data structures is about how we organize, store, and modify our data. And it can make your particular algorithms faster or slower depending on how you organize your data. So, siguro from kung gamit kayo yung EEE 121, ang data natin sinustore lang natin in lists or arrays. So, dire-diretso lang silang ganyan. So, for EEE 121, we move past that. An example is a tree. So, instead of nakapila lang yung ating data, mag-i-organize natin sila. Merong data na mas mahalaga, lalagay natin sa taas. Merong data na hindi ganun kahalaga, lalagay natin sa baba. So, by doing that, there are certain algorithms na kaya natin pabilisin. So, yun yung point ng data structures. And then, lastly, analysis of algorithms. So, there will be multiple solutions to the same problem. Pero, paano natin malalaman kung anong solution yung best? So, yung gist ng EEE 121. So, yung data structures is yung primary way natin to make our algorithms more efficient, and then yung analysis ng algorithms yung way natin ng pag-confirm kung naging efficient na sila or so. And moving on, what to expect. So EEE 121 is definitely a little harder than EEE 111. So for EEE 111, mas may focus on the programming part, yung sa programming language, yung sa syntax. So for 2s2122, expectation is okay na kayo. Hindi naman kailangan expert sa Python. Pero pag meron kaming pinakitang Python code, ang question na lang is paano siya gumagana, hindi yung anong ginagawa ng certain lines na to. So yun yung more of expectation. Pero of course, we understand naman kung meron talaga kayong line na hindi maintindihan or meron kayong syntax na hindi makuha, we'll still answer your queries regarding those. Pero hindi siya yung so parang magfo-focus tayo more on what the algorithm is doing rather than ano yung parang ano yung technicalities ng code basically. So yung syllabus natin is available sa Udle. Open din siya dito. And ayun, basically hindi na din naman ang sinasabi over here. And sinetop ko dito sa slides ko yung so let's go over siguro yung sort of setup. So Udle, nandun lahat ng ating mga materials and yung most ng submission bins and assessments. And then meron tayong hacker rank for doon tayo nagpo-program kasi meron na silang sariling parang checker na rin para checker and parang compiler. And then Zoom yung community natin. Schedule of activities. So ayun, this week is actually week 1. So it just covers yung Python, review ng Python and review on OOP, classes and objects. So for the next week, algo analysis, so time and space complexity, big O. And then week 3, recursion, actually. Recursion lang. Week 4 pa yung divide and conquer. Week 5 is yung linear data structures. Week 6, non-linear data structures. And then meron tayong problem set na i-release before the reading break. Then after ng break, meron tayong drafts and read and find. And then lastly, a second part dun sa algorithm analysis, which focuses on correctness. So yung algorithm analysis over here is parang efficient ba yung algorithm ko? Yung algo analysis over here is kung tama or mali ba yung algorithm ko. Or may cases ba kung saan magkakamali yung algorithm ko. So actually before magkadikit to, si algorithm analysis 1 and 2, kaso because of our current setup, medyo mas mahirap i-cover itong second part ng algo analysis. So parang dinulo namin siya para makapag-focus din sa parts na I guess mas madaling ituro. So parang more of after the fact na lang yung pag-aral ng correctness. Then there is actually another reading break na April 29 to May 5 and then meron tayong software project before finals week. So, meron pa mga dito, pero sinamarize ko na lang sila here. So, ang requirements for the course ay 60% na weekly activities, 20% sa problem set, 20% sa software project. So, for each week, we will be having, depende sa weekly handler. So, naka-indicate sa syllabus kung sinong specific instructor yung gumawa ng materials and assessments. So, iba-iba sila for week. So, pwede tayong magkaroon ng ungraded na assessments na parang pang double check lang if tama yung pagkaintindi nyo ng material. And then, actual graded quizzes and coding exercises. So, not all weeks kasi is applicable sa coding exercises. Not all weeks ay applicable lang sa quizzes. So, parang it's up to the weekly handler kung gaano kadaming, how much nung per week yung sa quizzes, how much per week yung sa coding exercises. So pwedeng quizzes lang, pwedeng coding exercises lang, pwedeng mix ng both. And I guess similar din sa 111 na 111 na online is you will be given unlimited tries for the quizzes and the coding exercises. Pero nagbibigay na kami ngayon ng deadline. So unlimited tries within deadline. So ang usual na magiging setup is, for example, for this week, na-release yung materials, I think February 14 or 15, 14 ng gabi. Ang deadline niya will be the next week on Friday, which is yung sa February 25. So may unlimited tries kayo, although merong parts. For example, may nagtanong pero address ko later. So sasabi ko, may mga tanong, kuwari essay type, or for example, merong additional checking doon sa code, baka hindi kami makapagbigay ng immediate feedback regarding doon kasi well, hindi naman kami we'll try our best to give feedback as early as possible. Pero yun nga, yung for other parts naman, kuwari multiple choice or yung extra time sa hacker rank, yan lang tayong unlimited tries. So, may nagtanong about sa policy on late submissions. Kung hindi na matatanggapin or may deductions ba. So, ako, ang magiging policy ko is, since merong requirement later on na 50%, yun yung magiging maximum score niya for the week. Although, ayun, given acceptable reason naman for being late, usually pumapayag naman na walang deductions for late submissions. So, basta may maayos kayong excuse or reason. So, hindi naman ako mahirap kumbinsihin with regards to that. So, ayun, just have a reason to not submit on time. And then next is yung problem set. It will cover yung ating weeks 1 to 6. So 1 to 6 kasi marami dito is medyo theoretical. Like yung mga data structures natin, mas na-appreciate sila with discussion rather than programming. So ang best na parang culminating activity for the first half ng course would be a problem set. So you cannot finish this in 1 week. Ang target namin is ma-release yung problem set by week 4. So you have weeks 5, 6, and the whole of week 7 hanggang Lenten break kung hindi talaga kaya to do the problem set. So yung deadline ng problem set is after yung mga break na to. And hopefully that will be enough time. So try nyo tapusin before the break, that would be ideal. And then, meron tayong for the latter or the final project, meron tayong software project it should be a sort of harder coding exercise. And nakafocus siya dun sa latter topics, which is yung graphs, tsaka yung union find and spanning trees. So, you can also not finish this in 1 week. And then, due to yung recent na experience namin with software projects na possible na, for example, if may 300 students with the same software project, mataas yung chance na merong 2 students na medyo pareho yung approach ng hindi sinasadya. So, ang pinaplan namin for 2s2122 this time is maging instructor specific yung software project. So, depending sa amin, mag-uusap kaming handlers, pero most probably, there could be up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different software projects for the whole of 2s2122. So, ang alam ko is yung Saturday classes is parang naka-group up with siya with Surferds and isang software project yung sa kanila. Although, so up to a few different software projects. So we'll do our best to put the projects at the same difficulty level kahit na magkakaiba yung gumawa. Ayun nga. para mabawasan yung chances of accidental intellectual dishonesty. So, ayun. After that, so we'll have some policies on grading. So, you will get a numerical grade if yung weekly activities, problem set, and software project, yung total nila is greater than 60%. And then, ang requirement din, for each component, kailangan 50% or higher. So, kailangan at least 30% ka dito, at least 10%, at least 10% from each. So, ginagawa yon such that, for example, perfect ka sa weekly activities, it does not excuse you from doing the problem set or yung software project. So, kailangan mo pa din silang gawin. And then, to ensure na parang balanced yung ating work, 50% or higher for each weekly activity total. So, kailangan, for example, for week 1, kailangan at least mga 50% ka. For week 2, 50% din. And for week 3, 4, and so on and so forth. So, kailangan. So, kahit na maganda, mataas na yung standing mo, for example, after week 6, perfect na lahat. So, that's actually around 60% na nung weekly activities. Parang required ka pa rin gumawa doon sa week 10 to 13 na activities para makakuha ng numerical grade. So, pwede ka naman makakuha ng drop if wala kang attempts for any of the activities. So, kahit may isang attempt ka, mapupunta ka na sa third case. So, wherein makakuha ka ng incomplete. So, another case of getting a drop is if magkaroon tayo ng kaso with intellectual dishonesty. Lalo na pag medyo malaki siyang issue. And then a student can also be asked to be dropped with a valid reason. For example, nag-shift out or may gusto mag-focus on the other subjects for the SEM mo na parang. So otherwise, makakuha ka ng incomplete. So para ma-complete is kailangan ma-achieve yung mga dito sa taas. So in that case, parang medyo na-override yung deadlines. So kailangan mo maka 50% or higher for each of the activities para ma-clear yung incomplete. So, meron bang mga questions so far? Submission policies. So, yung coding exercises natin, available siya as a contest sa HackerRank. So, yan. So, nakita natin sa week 1, meron tayong 3 challenges. And then, kahit na dito, merong HackerRank, ang final submission natin is still on THWX3. So, sa THWX3, may kita natin dito, for example, sa week 1, meron tayong submission bin for exercise 1A. And kailangan nyo isubmit yung inyong final code as .py and a text file ng link ng inyong submission. So yung submission link, for example, makita mo dito sa week 1A, and yung problem, dito ka nag-code. Pag nag-submit code ka dito, meron ka daw makita sa submissions tab dito. Merong view results. So if i-review mo yung results, makita mo dapat dito yung mga test cases na tama ka and yung final, yung submitted code dito sa baba. So yung link dito sa URL natin, yun yung ilalagay natin as yung dito sa link dun sa text file. So bakit ba't pa kami magpapasabot sa uli kung meron naman HackerRank? So meron kasi minsan, depende sa week, may hidden edge cases na kailangan nyo ma-achieve din, and meron tayong additional constraints further on. Kasi kung dito sa week 2, meron tayong tatawag na sorting algorithms. So iba-ibang sorting algorithms, pare-pareho yung ginagawa. Pero for example, nag-require kami na gumamit kayo ng bubble sort. pero gumawa kayo ng insertion sort, of course, hindi kayo makakuha ng full points for that activity. So doon, kasi hindi naman yung check ni hacker lang. So kaya kailangan dumaan sa uli para before dun sa final grading ng inyong submission. So yun yung rationale. And then ayun, in general, ang susundan namin is yung materials will be uploaded at the start of the week and will be due on Friday the following week. So, ayan, for example, ngayon, na-release yung week 1 ng gabi ng Feb 14. Ang deadline niya will be on Feb 25. And then for week 2, i-release sila at Feb 21. Ang deadline will be on March 4. And then deadline extensions are granted on a case-to-case basis. So if meron kayong problems, may nangyari sa inyo, sana, just send me an email and mapag-uusapan naman natin yung bagong deadline and yung terms ng extension. So ayun nga, for siguro if ayoko naman sabihin na medyo tinamad kayo for a week, hindi nyo lang nagawa. And since kailangan maka 50% kayo for each week, you will be given a chance to submit hanggang 50% ng isang week. So kahit magawa mo yung 80% for a week, pag late submission siya, ika-cap ko siya at to 50% kasi nga na-late. So yun na lang yung magiging policy natin, I guess, for unexcused na late submissions. So, ayun, other course policies, synchronous sessions are not required and are recorded and uploaded naman. So, another thing is we allow discussions, but we prohibit sending each other yung actual code or answers dun sa quizzes or sa exercises. So, if ever nagdi-discuss man kayo with each other ng activities natin, use as generic statements as possible. Or pseudocode, or minsan, for example, gusto kong ikwento sa classmate ko yung ginawa ko for, wala dito sa week 1, sa Pig Latin. Hindi ko dapat papakita sa kanya yung code na ginawa ko. Pwede akong gumawa ng pseudocode or pwede akong gumawa ng flowchart kung gusto kong gawin para ma-explain ko yung gusto kong gawin and ma-discuss yun. Kasi pagka umabot sa point na nagpapakita na tayo ng ating code at ating mga sariling sagot, parang mahirap i-avoid yung pag-copy-paste na lang eh. Kasi nakita mo na, alam mo yung itsura. So, most likely than not, magiging pareho yung magiging submission nyo. And din yung mafa-flag namin as a case of intellectual dishonesty. Pero kung ano, pag ginawa ko siyang flowchart, so parang meron pa tayong kanya-kanyang interpretation ng flowchart. So mag-iiba pa yung final answer natin with regards to that. So that will be the safer way to discuss your answers. Yan na yun. Nag-set up naman ako ng Discord server and pwede tayong doon magkaroon ng discussion. And that way, since nandun kami, ako at saka yung ating student assistant na si Brian, pwede namin ma-moderate yung inyong discussion and masabi if ito, bawal na itong sabihin, ito, pwede pa, etc. etc. So in that way, gusto natin makaiwas ng intellectual dishonesty, either sadya or di sadya. And then ayun nga, we will certainly find ourselves in some cases na, okay, hindi ko siya ma-solve, try ko online kung anong masasabi ng Stack Overflow, Geeks for Geeks. So in that case, okay lang naman na mag-check ng other websites for more materials. Although, you have to modify or personalize these as much as you can. So it becomes intellectual dishonesty pagka may sinabit ako, hindi ako yung gumawa, pero sinabi ko, ako yung gumawa. So yun yung dishonesty. So if may sinabit ako, hindi ko siya ginawa, pero sinabi kong hindi ko siya ginawa, edi doon, pwede namin siyang payagan. Pero for example, may isang requirement, ang solution niya is kinuha niya ng online, wala kayong binago at all, hindi siya submission mo. Submission siya ng person online. So hindi namin mabibigay yung grade sa'yo. So mabibigay namin yung grade dun sa gumawa online. So try to modify yung ating solution as much as possible. And kami rin naman, as much as we can, tinatry namin umiwas doon sa mga generic na problems. So, nagdadagdag kami ng konting specificity dun sa code such that walang 1:1 equivalent at least sa nakikita namin online. So, we'll do our best with that. Pero yun, so yun nga, if kinailangan yung mag-consult ng other references, cite your sources by placing comments doon sa inyong code. Then lastly, for some personal policies, so yung consultations, so naglagay ako ng konting time dito, MWF 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So yun yung mga usual times na available ako. Pero pwede kayong mag-message anytime and magre-reply ako as soon as I can. So based on experience sa mga coding or programming courses na na-handle ko na before, usually merong student mag-email about dun sa current na problem niya and magsisend ng source code. Usually magre-reply ako through text nung ano yung nakita ko dun sa code, and usually enough na man na yon para mapagana ng student yung kanya code. So ayun, yun yung aking preference. So parang, sir, wala dito sa Piglatin, may isang test case po ako hindi makuha. Hindi ko maintindihan bakit hindi niya nakukuha. So usually ganun yung mga simula ng mga email sa akin. And yun, sasagutin ko naman siya with the best of my ability. Pero yan, live and video consultation still an option, lalo na if kung hindi nyo talaga alam kung saan magsa-start or meron something na hindi talaga ma-solve at all or di tayo nagkakaintindihan sa chat, yun yung ating magiging yun yung ating magiging course of action, basically. And then, yun, generally, responsive ako pag weekends at holidays, tsaka early in the morning. So, kung, depende kasi yan eh. Hindi ko lang alam kung meron sa inyong ganyan. Pagka active during dun sa nag-email, agad-agad makakapag-reply. Pero pag if hindi ako nakakapag-check agad ng email, parang umaabot ng after one day bago ko ma-reply. So, ganon. So, kailangan medyo masaktuhan mo yung time. Although, ayun, during our class times, yun yung for sure na i-allot ko for our classes. So, yun nga, hindi naman tayo weekly magkakaroon ng synchronous sessions. So, during our schedule, 1 o'clock to 3:30, I will make myself available such that lahat ng mga magtanong during that time, I'll see to it na ma-replyan ko within 10 to 15 minutes basically. So yan. And then we also have our SA, which meron siyang class ngayon, so hindi natin siya makasama. Pero ito siya sa Discord, si Brian. So pwede nyo naman siya i-message. Pag natatakot kayo mag-message sa akin, pwede nyo siyang i-message. Pero usually, message na lang siya. So, ayun. Any questions so far? So, tumitingin ako sa side kasi nandun yung mga chat. So, tapos nandito yung mga slides. So baka lang nabobother. Any questions regarding yung ating course policies? Bolo. Okay, usually wala naman nagkakaroon ng tanong, lalo na pag regarding this, wala naman nagtatanong dyan unless umabot sila sa point na ganyan. Or pagka meron na solution. So, can actually end here. Or meron na kasing iba nakapag-submit, pero we can go over siguro yung week 1 na activities. Total, nandito na rin kayo. Diba? So for week 1, so if meron na sa inyong mga nakatapos, wala nang problems, you are free to go. So for the benefit of everyone, I'll just go over quickly yung materials natin for week 1. So of course, per week, siguro sanay naman na kayo sa ating setup. Just first check yung ating study guide kung ano yung laman or gagawin for the week. So for week 1, yun, it's just a review of Python programming with a special focus on classes and objects, which will be useful later on. So merong collab notebook that covers yung materials. Actually, naka-open na pala siya dito. Zoom in pala natin siguro para text. So, ayan, may konting introduction lang din. Just like what I said earlier. Yan, may definition ng algorithm at saka data structure. So, may question dito na hindi talaga natanong, na hindi nasagot. So, siguro I'll give my own answer. So, yung algorithm nga is a procedure to solve the problem, and a data structure is yung ating paano natin sinusolve, ay paano natin sinustore yung data natin, paano natin siya ina-arrange. So, useful sila in such a way na there are some algorithms that work better if our data is arranged in a certain way. You can think of, siguro, familiar ba kayo sa binary search? So, ang binary search is a way of searching for something sa isang list by starting in the middle, and if it's greater than or less than, magsa-search ako dun sa less than or greater than. So for example, nasa library ka. Baka lumang example. Nasa library ka, naghahanap ka ng certain book. And if, for example, on a certain shelf, arrange yung books alphabetically. So yung book na hinahanap ko, nagsa-start siya with the letter K. So titignan ko yung book sa gitna ng shelf. Nakita ko letter M siya. So alam ko na mahanap ko yung letter K doon sa left niya. So yung pwede kasing way, i-check ko isa-isa yung books. So yun yung linear search. One by one, check ko yung books kung pareho siya dun sa title na hinahanap ko. Pero if I know na arranged yung aking mga books alphabetically, so yun yung data structure niya, arranged na books. I can start at the middle, and then pwede kong, pag chinek ko yung middle, mahati ko yung number of books na kailangan ko i-check. So basically, mas mabilis. So kaya magiging useful ang data structures. So yun yung isang example. There are certainly other examples pa, pero yun muna for now. And then after some introduction, we get into Python basics. So ang expectation ko, most of you will be coding Python to the HackerRank page. So dito na kayo nag-run. So medyo hindi ganun ka-important yung part dito. And you can skip over here, basic math operations. Familiar na dapat kayo. Dapat. Pero if hindi pa rin, that's okay. Tanggap pa rin namin kayo. Just be honest. Okay. So, may nagtanong, siguro sagutin ko na ngayon since nakita ko na. Will there be synchronous sessions every week to discuss the lessons and try some exercises covered by that particular week? So, ako personally, it will be on a week-to-week basis. So for example, next week, algorithm analysis, this will be something fairly new to everyone. So yes, magkakasynchronous session for that. The next week is on recursion and divide and conquer. So I think yung recursion kasi is na-cover nyo na earlier. So pwedeng i-lump ko na lang, i-group ko na lang yung weeks 3 and 4 na materials. I will cover them in one synchronous session. And then same with weeks 5 and 6. Ang linear data structures, actually very straightforward kasi na-encounter nyo na dapat to before, lists. Yung stacks tsaka queues, baka nagamit nyo na before pero hindi nyo lang alam na stacks and queues yun. So, ang yung aking preference dito is just 1 week of synchronous sessions for both week 5 and 6. So basically parang magiging review siya ng week 5 material and preview siya ng week 6 material. Same dito. Review siya ng week 3 material and preview siya ng week 4 material. So, well, yun. It will be dependent din naman sa feedback nyo. If sa tingin nyo mas kailangan natin ng per week, mag-synchronous session tayo per week. Pero based on experience kasi, kung wari ngayon, umabot tayo ng 9 students, next week, mga 6 na lang, tapos next week, yung 3 na lang. So, medyo, although recorded, tinitingnan ko naman yung stats ko sa YouTube, tumataas naman yung viewership mo. So yung mga nag-attend ng live pababa, yung nanonood ng recordings tumataas. So ayun. So ayun, kung yung nagmumukhang once in 2 weeks nga, ginagawa ko naman actually playlist yung aking videos. So ayun, that will be yung ating default for now. Pero we'll see, kung if mukhang nakaka-catch up naman lahat, pwede nating i-stick yung ganun. Pero if madaming nahuhuli, for example, week 3, at the end of week 3, mga a few students pa lang yung nakakuha, pwedeng magkaroon ng extra session for that. Or, basically, meron naman tayong 2 sessions in a week. So, kaya naman dapat. And we'll see, madami din naman buffer weeks. Sa problem set, walang i-release na any additional material. So from from March 28 hanggang April 1, wala kaming ibang i-release na materials. You're free to do just the problem set. So if meron tayong mga topics na nahirapan dun sa earlier weeks, we can give an additional synchronous session for that. So basically, yun yung magiging setup natin. So ayun, going back to Python, yan, basic math operations, and another thing na important, yung functions, define, name ng function, parameters or arguments ng inputs. So this helps us, kung meron tayong ginagawa ng paulit-ulit, igagawa natin siya ng function. And then, data structures. So meron ng existing data structure sa Python. Meron yung mga list, tuples, at saka strings. So list basically holds a certain number of elements. Yung tuple para siyang list, pero hindi mo pwedeng i-modify yung isang element sa tuple. So, and then yung string is like a tuple, pero puro characters yung naman. So, I think na-cover din naman to mostly. So, pasadahan na lang natin. Then, another data structure is a set. So, parang collection siya ng elements na kung may umulit, dito si Japan umulit. Yung actual contents ni countries, hindi siya dadagdag pa. So, this is useful usually pag pag naghahanap pa ng duplicates, can use this. So for example, yung list ko contains 10 elements, pero pag ginawa ko ng set, 5 elements na lang. So you know that yung 5 elements sa original na list ay duplicates. Then we have what is called a dictionary. So which is like a para siyang list. Pero di ba sa list ang indexes natin integers? So yung first element natin is 0, second element 1, 2, 3, and so on. So for dictionaries, instead of using integers, pwede siyang kahit ano. So hindi siya limited actually sa string. Yung key natin dito na tinatawag is pwedeng maging tuple, pwedeng maging integer din. So pwede mong gamitin yung dictionary na parang ordinary list. Pero yun, ito yung isa sa mga advantages niya. Pwede kong gawing number. Ayun. Pwede ko siyang isa. And actually, dictionary mo, cover din natin siya later on pagdating sa maps, mappings. Then, ayun, so ito yung mostly about our variables. So, about control statements or parang paano nag-execute yung ating code. So, while loops, so while a certain condition is true, we repeat. For loops, so for a certain range or list, isa-isa yung elements sa list, do yung certain thing with per element. But parang for each element inside a list, repeat yung nasa loob. Then yung for loop, pwede natin siyang gamitin for list comprehensions para makagawa tayo ng mabilisan ng list. So, actually, medyo gamit na gamit ko to personally. So, for each number, for number in range 11, 20, tapos from 11 to 20, na increment by 2. So, pwede mo ito actually i-modify. Pwede ko itong num times 2. So, magiging twice lahat ng laman niya. Pero hindi naman. Ay, ito tapos na siya. So, pag num times 2, mag-times 2 lahat ng elements dito. So, pwede ko pa itong i-modify. Wala, gusto ko siya squared. So, yan. Pwede mo siyang gawing string. So, instead of integer yung store, magiging string yung store. So, yeah. This is very useful, personally. And then next is, actually, yung half ng ating material is on classes and objects. Which will be very gamit na gamit sa ating course, basically. Kasi lalo na pagdating natin sa graphs at saka, actually sa trees pa lang, gamit na sila. Kasi classes are a way for us to make our own data structures sa Python. So, important yung mag-set up ng classes and objects. So, to define a class, ayun. So, basically, class yung structure or yung template, and then an object is yung specific object ng class. So, for example, here, ang class natin is yung city. A specific object is, for example, Manila. So, Manila is a city na sinet natin yung population niya is to 1.78 million and yung area niya is nasa 42.88 hectares, square kilometers. Actually, hindi ko alam. So, basta nandiyan. So, basically yun, si city, it's already a data structure. A city has a name, population, area, and a density. So, this could already be our data structure. And then, yung ating methods or yung specific na operations, para ito, expand yung area. Hindi natin alam paano yan nangyayari in real life. So, for example, if familiar kayo doon sa, yung sa Warbot na yun, yung, for example, Manila conquered Quezon City, lalaking area niya, lalaking population. So, yun yung expand area. And then, yeah, print information, basically, i-organize na lang yung naman to look into yung kanyang yung kanyang contents. And then, Ayan, so another example dito is kung ito tawag natin inheritance. So for example, meron na tayong person na class. Gusto natin siyang extend. Instead of just an ordinary person, we have a student. So, nag-define tayo ng class student, tapos may parenthesis beside it, and naglagay tayo ng another class. So, si student, meron siyang parang na-inherit niya yung mga functions na to. So, hindi mo na siya kailangan i-define ulit, kailangan mo lang i-inherit from person. So, essentially, this will be the same as pag inedit natin siya, kung if ever hindi pa existing yung person class, parang kinopy-paste mo yung method definitions pag wala yung person dyan. Pero since nandiyan yung person, hindi mo siya kailangan gawin. And another thing is pwede natin i-overwrite yung kanyang mga na-define na. So yung introduce yourself dito sa person is hi, my name is ganito lang. Pero pag sa student, nagdagdag tayo ng I am a student sa dulo. So it's a way for us to save on code, lalo na kung magkakamukha yung mga objects natin. So si John, nag-introduce siya, person lang siya. So ganito lang introduction niya. Pero si Tim, isa siyang student. So pag nag-introduce siya ng sarili niya, merong I am a student sa dulo. And then for Python, meron tayong mga special methods na ginagamit for certain scenarios. So for example, yung underscore string or str, it specifies yung gagamitin na function pagka typecast natin as a string yung ating object. Pag add naman, yung plus, pag multiply, yung multiply operation or yung star, or GT pag greater than. So yun. And then actually yung initialization class then is also a special method. So itong function na to yung kinocall whenever we instantiate a new object. So pag x equals complex 1 and 2, 1, 2, ito yung function na kinocall. Basically. So essentially this is the same as calling yung init na function. Si self, siya si x, and then si 1 and si 2. So si self yung equivalent ng x. Tapos dito, pag x plus y, this is the same as calling yung add x and y. So dito, sa add, dito, for the add, yung first argument, siya yung self, and then yung second argument, siya yung other dito sa task. So, ayan, this would be useful, for example, if meron kang operations, na kunwari, meron kang real number, i-add mo sa complex number, pero, kunwari yan, so gagana siya now, kasi si y, complex number din siya, pero tingnan natin, if, for example, gawin ko itong 1 plus y. I think mag-i-error to. Kasi yung first element natin is just an ordinary integer. So wala pa siyang definition for that. So kasi pwedeng gawin dito. Hindi ko alam kung napaghahalo ko yung C++ at saka pero ano ba yung friend? Hindi sa C++. So, there's a way to do that. I'm just not completely sure paano right now. Pero, ayun. Pero pag binalitan mo to, I think pwede ata. Ayun. So, pwede siya pag binalitan natin. Kasi si y, siya yung complex number, may defined naman na siya na ganyan. So, pwede siya. Okay. More OOP. And so actually, this is just more examples using yung OOP. Na more complete lang with, so may directory. And then, ginagamit niya rin yung student na class. I think. And then ito, yung another highlight dito is yung lambda function. So basically, another way to define a function lang yan. So, pwede ka mag-define. The term x dot. So parang itong lambda function na to is the same as this one. Functionally the same. So it's just a shorthand for creating a short function. So itong x dot name, siya yun nandito. And then yung x dito sa taas, siya yun nandito. So kung xyz to, tapos for example, gusto ko i-return si x plus y plus z, pwede ko siyang gawing x plus y plus z, pero kailangan ko i-dagdag si x, y, z. I think. I think something like that. Meron ka ng konting dadagdagin para mag-support ng multiple na arguments. Pero basically, yun lang naman siya. And yeah, so tapos going back to sa study guide, meron tayong 3 assessments. Lahat naman nasa hacker rank na. First one is Pig Latin. I think medyo mahirap siya i-gets dito, pero pagdating naman sa example, ayun. Pagka first letter, ay pag yung word natin starts with the consonant and vowel. So first letter of the word at the end and add AY sa dulo. So that is, so ito, pig. Okay. So yung first letter lalagay sa dulo, IGP, tapos magdadagdag na AY sa dulo. Then if the word starts with 2 consonants, yung 2 consonants ilalagay din sa end. So, to sa speak. So ik yung magre-retain, yung SP nandito sa dulo, tapos may AY sa dulo. Then if a word starts with a vowel, wala to sa is, lalagay mo ng way sa dulo. So, pwede naman natin. And then, the next one, dun sa challenges, I see 1B. So actually, yung scoring dito is a reflection ng kanilang contribution sa grade for the week. So 40 points sa Pig Latin, 40 points sa line structures, and 20 points sa card simulator for a total of 100 points. So dito sa line structures is just a mag-setup ka lang ng parang class using line and point. So kailangan nyo lang i-define yung mga methods dito, and then pati yung line dito to instantiate yung ating point. So, ayan. Given naman yung first few points, I mean yung input is number of lines. And then the next n lines contain the 2D coordinate values of each point. So pag collinear sila, i-add yata. Tama ba? Pag hindi sila collinear. And then lastly for 1C, card simulator. Actually, makita nyo, ang directive sa amin is parang i-group into 3 yung aming assessments, yung easy, medium, and hard. And 40 points makukuha sa easy, 40 points makukuha sa medium, 20 points lang din sa hard, kahit siya yung pinakamahirap. So magawa nyo na yung easy at saka yung medium, okay na dapat kayo for the week. Pero if gusto nyo ma-perfect yung score nyo, gagawin nyo sa hard. So yung hard medyo mas mahirap. Gagawa kayo ng object or ng class of a deck. which contains yung 52 parts. Explain further yung mga nandyan. So, ayun, meron bang questions for now? Although, expected ko naman, walang magkakatanong hanggat wala pang gumagawa ng action na exercises. So, I'll be expecting more questions later on. And ayun, so generally, if may tanong kayo, you can post sa Discord doon sa class related. So, tinatry ko tong threads. Not sure if pwede kayo mag-reply doon sa thread, pero para mo-organize lang natin into certain weeks yung questions if for a specific week yung question. So, ang ginagawa kasi before is may separate channels for weeks 1, 2, 3, etc. Kaso parang nasasayangan or parang medyo cluttered na yung itsura ng Discord kasi ang daming channels na hindi lahat nagagamit at the same time. So, tinatry ko muna itong threads. If it doesn't work for us, yun, may transition tayo to separate channels for each week. Pero basically yun, in general, if may tanong kayo, post lang kayo sa Discord. Or if it concerns your specific submission, so, sir, itong line ko ng code or may specific na test case ako hindi ma-solve, yun na yung marirecommend ko na mag-personal message na kayo. Pero for example, may tanong kayo, kuwari sa Pig Latin, may specific word kayo na hindi nyo alam paano siya i-translate, pwede nyo naman siyang itanong over at Discord. And then, ayun. So, I think that is the end ng first week. So, just a warm-up on Python and Python programming. So, meron pa bang mga questions? Mga concerns? Anything? So, ayun, sakto tayo 1 hour. So, if there are no more questions, or most likely meron kayong questions, naiya lang kayo magtanong, you can send me a message over at Discord or over at my email. So, with that, thank you very much for attending our session for today. Yeah. Most likely we'll see each other. We'll have another session next week. So, okay. Bye-bye. Yeah, stay safe din pala, guys. Thank you. Din sa message. Direct message. Okay. End ko na yung meeting. Bye-bye. Hindi ko mapindot.